Get this out. We have to get this out. I'm gonna try to start these streams. Be able to connect the stream. It's gonna crash it. Go live. It won't connect the stream. Quit that one. Okay, let's try Twitter. Again and again. Yeah, Twitter is also failing, which is fine. Instagram, oops, delete Facebook. Delete Instagram and just try to do Twitter. Be able to connect the stream. I tried. Okay, well, we're gonna start anyway. Hi. And I just wanted to share a story. You know, I wanted to share a little moment with you. I wanted to talk about one night at 2 a.m. You know, the world outside is quiet, but my mind is anything but. And my office is dimly lit, dimmer than this. And the only light is coming from the glow of my computer screen. My desk was cluttered with empty coffee mugs. They've been cleaned up now, but half-used notebooks and sticky notes filled with scribbled ideas that once seemed like brilliance, but now they feel pointless. The faint hum of my Mac Studio right here in front of me, the one I nearly spent, a rack on, was an investment in a dream that I made, and increasingly that I thought was increasingly becoming out of reach. But I got this computer and I felt like the screen, the studio display just mocks me with complexity. And my cursor at 2 a.m. is blinking like a metronome, with each flash taunting me for not knowing the next move. And my hands rest on the keyboard, motionless. I can't type another word because I don't want to mess up. I don't know what to type, and I'm exhausted. And my shoulders ache from hours of hunching over the screen, and my eyes burn from staring at the same error messages over and over again. And my mind is racing with one thought: what if I'm not even good enough? And I try to silence those thoughts, try to silence that voice of doubt, but it's relentless, and it tells me I don't belong here, that I'm not cut out for this, and it echoes the words of those who told me to stick to my day job. And I could hear their warnings. Tech is for the geniuses, the ones with the degrees from Stanford or MIT, not for someone like you. And even the small business advisor at the SBA who chuckled when I shared my ambitions, those ring in my ear. He said, don't quit your day job. And maybe he was right. Maybe, maybe I've been deluding myself this entire time, and the weight of failure presses down on me. I've poured everything into this, late nights, early mornings, my savings. It's all been for this dream of creating something meaningful. But right now, that dream feels farther away than ever. And I feel like a fraud, like an outsider, pretending to belong in a world that I just don't understand. And I lean back in my chair. It's 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling. My chest feels tight, my heart shallow, and I whisper into the stillness, there has to be a way. But deep down, I'm not sure. I feel stuck. I feel trapped in a moment where the only thing louder than the silence is the night. Then the silence at night is the voice telling me telling me to give up. And that's when I remember it. Greptile. It was a tool that I heard about. It used to be called onboard AI. And I got it for like $6 a month. And because I'm an early adopter, I use like the beta list, and I use all these different things. And I stumbled upon Onboard AI, got their $6 deal, their lifetime deal, never, early adopters, $6 forever. And it was a tool I'd heard about a while back, and something that promised to revolutionize the way people interacted with code. And I was like, okay, well then, I mean, I don't know how to code at all, so why not me try this thing out? And the pitch sounded like a sci-fi fantasy. Talk to your code like you're talking to a person, like I'm talking to you right now. And at the time, I dismissed it. You know, I'm not gonna hold you. It sounded like it was too good to be true. And if something's too good to be true, it is. And like the kind of thing that only seasoned developers or Silicon Valley elites could appreciate. But as I sat there at 2 a.m. staring at my screen with no idea what to do next, the memory of Greptile resurfaced. But it was called Onboard AI at the time. And so I had to like backtrack, like, what did I buy? That was like that thing that like could talk to the code. And not like a chat GPT where you ask it a question and you did it. No, like its only purpose is to talk to code. And yeah. The memory of Greptile, you know, I had read about it in an article. I heard someone mention it in passing as well, but I hadn't really thought much of it. But now it's felt like a lifeline. And what did I have to lose? With a mix of skepticism and desperation, I opened my browser and I searched for Onboard AI, but then I realized that it was acquired by Y Combinator, I believe, or not acquired, funded by Y Combinator, and then it was renamed as Greptile. And within moments, I was on the site, staring at its clean interface and very bold promises. And my fingers, they did hesitate over that keyboard. I'm not even going to hold you. But I was still doubtful. Can this thing really help me? Or am I just wasting more time? But desperation makes you look bold, makes you bold and audacious. And I uploaded my code base. I typed my question and I asked it very plainly. I said, why doesn't it work? And I hit enter. And in true AI fashion, it takes a while. I'm like, damn, this is like taking a long time. And I expected some like vague, unhelpful Bing chat GPT looking ass response that I'd seen in forums and tutorials and on Google. But what happened next left me speechless. In seconds, Greptile analyzed my code. It pinpointed the issue and offered a detailed explanation, not just the technical jargon, but like the clearest step-by-step guide that I could even understand. Like even me with no coding experience, no developing experience, I was like an IT minor. And I could not even express to you how much my heart was racing as I followed its instructions. I implemented the Greptile, the suggested changes I ran the program and my jaw dropped as I watched the terminal output with no errors. It worked. It actually worked. A wave of relief washed all over me, followed by disbelief. And I even laughed out loud, a deep guttural laugh, you know, that came from somewhere I hadn't tapped into for months. I was so freaking happy. And it wasn't just the code that had been fixed. It was me. And for the first time in weeks, I felt hope. And that moment was more than just a technical breakthrough. It was a transformation. And sitting there in the dim glow of my office, I felt a shift of realization that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as far out of my depth as I thought. For so long, I'd seen technology as this impenetrable fortress guarded by the ultra-educated and the highly connected. It wasn't a place for someone like me, someone self-taught, someone without pedigree. But Greptile didn't care about any of that. It didn't judge me for not knowing what an API call was, because I definitely didn't know that, or how to optimize a neural network. I definitely don't know that. It just simply helped me. And in doing so, it shattered that narrative that I've been telling myself for years that I did not belong. And in that moment, my mindset shifted. I wasn't just a user of technology. I was a creator. The dreams I tucked away, the ideas that felt too big, too audacious, they suddenly were within reach. And building an AI assistant, running a think tank, why not? Greptile had given me more solutions than had given me permission to dream again. And for the first time, I felt like I was finally a part of, not of an exclusive club or something like that, but actually having a tool that worked, a tool that anyone could use as long as they were willing to try it. As long as you were an early adopter and you had ambitions like Sam Altman or an audacity like me, it's empowering, it's exhilarating, and it's also humbling all at once. So after that breakthrough, after that moment, something in me after it changed inside of me. My fear of failure, while not entirely gone, felt smaller. It wasn't that I suddenly became a coding genius overnight, far from it. But now I had a tool that leveled the playing field, a tool that helped me focus. It helped let me focus on learning and building rather than getting lost in the weeds of technical jargon. And with this new mindset, I decided to tackle a project that I had always felt was impossible, building Courtney. Courtney wasn't just an AI assistant. Courtney was the embodiment of my ambition. I envisioned a system that could automate workflows, parse complex data, and serve as the backbone of my think tank, glenride.org. I wanted it to be a tool that didn't just help me, but could be one day help to others and helping them create and innovate. But there was one small problem, and I had no idea how to make it a reality. Enter Greptile. Armed with the confidence from my earlier success, I uploaded a messy prototype, make code for Courtney, and I asked Greptile, what's the best way to structure this? If it's just an AI agent or something with it, how would I do that? And within moments, Greptile was offering me clear instructions for making my code more efficient. It was giving me solutions I haven't even considered. And it felt like having a mentor sitting right beside me, guiding me through each step. Because I remember back in college when I learned Java, having a professor really, really helped me. Being able to learn like iterations and stuff like that, like that's what Greptile is kind of replacing. It's just taking that human experience, in-person experience, and making it like nearly automatic for you. You don't even have to have a person there to tell you what's wrong. And it might make a mistake, but I haven't really seen them. But the real magic came when I hit a roadblock in Courtney's natural language processing. I generally could not get it to respond intuitively. I could not get it. I couldn't bridge the documentation I was using. I couldn't understand it. It might as well have been written in a foreign language, and I was frustrated. I turned to Greptile again. How can I make the responses feel more natural? I asked it. And not only did it give me a solution, it also explained the underlying logic in a way that developed my understanding. And it was like learning coding from scratch, but this time I was with a guide who didn't care how many questions I asked. And as I worked on Courtney, I began to see the broader implications of what I was doing. Greptile wasn't just helping me build an AI, it was reshaping how I approach problem solving altogether. It taught me that technology wasn't about knowing everything. It was about asking the right questions and trusting the process of learning. And that realization extended beyond coding. It made me think about how many people like me feel shut out of tech because they don't think they have the skills. But what if they knew tools like this existed? What could they create? Courtney became a symbol of possibility, not just for what I could achieve, but what others could achieve too. And with each challenge I overcame, I felt a deeper connection to that idea that technology, when made accessible, can unlock incredible potential in anyone. And the more I worked on Courtney and explored Greptile and what it could do, the more I realized that the high stakes were not just for me, but for everyone navigating this rapidly evolving tech landscape. We're living in a time where AI is at the center of global conversation. Some see it as a savior, a tool that will revolutionize industries and solve humanity's biggest challenges, and others see it as a threat, a force that will displace jobs, exacerbate inequalities, and deepen divisions. But here's the truth. AI is neither inherently good or inherently bad. It's a tool, and like any tool, its value depends on how we use it. For me, Greptile was a lifeline. It didn't just help me code, it gave me hope. It reminded me that the future doesn't belong to the smartest or the richest. It belongs to the curious, the determined, the ones who are willing to learn and adapt. And that's what makes tools like Greptile so powerful. They democratize access to innovation. They level the playing field. But there's a flip side to this story. Without tools like Greptile, how many people are left behind? How many brilliant ideas go unrealized because someone didn't have the resources or the confidence to pursue them? That's the real danger. Not AI itself, but the barriers that prevent people, real people, from using it to its fullest potential. Y Combinator sees it, and every time I use Greptile, I think about the countless others who are stuck at their own 2 a.m. moment. People with dreams as big as mine, feeling just as lost. And I can't help but wonder, what if they knew? What if this tool, this lifeline, what could they create with it? What problems could they solve? These aren't abstract questions. They're the stakes, because the future we're building isn't about technology. It's about who gets to participate in shaping it. And I want to live in a world where anyone with a dream and determination to chase it can find the tools needed to succeed. So before that night with Greptile, I saw myself as an outsider. No matter how much I learned or how hard I worked, I couldn't shake the feeling that I didn't belong in the tech world. And it felt like a club I wasn't invited to, a space reserved for the elite few with the right education and the right connections and the right credentials. But that was before the breakthroughs, before the wins, before I proved to myself that I could do this. Now I see things differently, and I'm not just a user of technology. I'm a creator. I'm someone who takes ideas and turns them into reality, manifesting them. And that shift in identity changed everything. And it's not that the journey has become easy. There are still things that plague us. There are still bugs that need to be fixed. There are still ideas that don't pan out. There are still moments of doubt that creep back in. But each time I remind myself of that night, I remind myself that no challenge is insurmountable. No dream of mine is too big anyway. I don't know about yours. And as long as I'm willing to learn and adapt, Greptile didn't just help me see myself in a new light or in a new way. It showed me that resilience isn't about never failing. It's about getting back up, asking for help, and trying again. And in doing so, it gave me something more valuable than knowledge. It gave me confidence. So here's my message to you. If you ever felt stuck, whether it's with a project or a dream or just life in general, I want you to know that you're not alone. The tools and support you need are out there. You just have to reach out and grab them. Greptile has taught me that the only limits are the ones that we place on ourselves. It's reminded me that asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a step toward growth. And if you can do that for me, if Greptile can do that for me, then it can also do that for you. And your breakthrough moment is closer than you think. It's waiting for you in the small act of trying, the decision to keep going, even when it feels impossible. So take the first step, ask the question, use the tool, seek the answer, seek the help, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. And when you look back, you'll realize that the only thing holding you back was the belief that you couldn't move forward. Let the moment prove yourself wrong. You're going to prove yourself wrong, I promise. Because Greptile lit. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for sharing. You'll have to click the link in the description, because there's a lot of opportunity for you. And I want you to succeed, and I want myself to succeed, but this video is for you. And I want you to prove yourself wrong. So thank you.